Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? We got a little breaking news here from NFL insider Jordan Schultz. Jordan Schultz is reporting that the New Orleans Saints are signing a linebacker. And a linebacker that many people around the NFL and around football should know very well. Jordan Schultz is reporting that the New Orleans Saints are signing Jaylon Smith. Had a workout with New Orleans today on Thursday and is signing with the team. He was a Pro Bowler back in 2019 and was with the New York Giants last season. This is my first reaction to this is that I really like it. And I guess in my mind, I had really sort of wrapped my brain around what I hoped would be the reality of the Saints signing Anthony Barr. But remember, a week ago when we were here, just to follow, my contention has been linebacker for the Saints wasn't a want or a need. It was a must. You absolutely had to add another linebacker. And not only, remember Mickey Loomis in camp? The day before camp was starting, Mickey Loomis said there were some positions where they felt like they wanted to add players with NFL experience. Remember that? Can you get that, please, if you remember where it is? But that was the day before the Saints started training camp. And it was clear he was talking about linebacker because you lose Caden Ellis in the offseason. So you go into this year with Demario Davis, with Pete Werner, and then DeMarco Jackson, who you drafted a year ago, Andrew Dowell, Zach Bond. Okay, well, now Dowell tore his ACL. He's done for the year. Demario Davis has a calf strain, which has had him on the shelf, which I'm not worried about Demario Davis. He's been incredibly reliable and durable during his career. Just get him ready for the start of the season. You don't need, Demario Davis doesn't need camp. But Pete Werner, in his 2 seasons in the NFL, is yet to play a full season. So that's where the concern comes in, right? The 2 guys you have, you like a lot. And if I could guarantee that those guys would be on the field playing at full bore every play for 17 games, great. It's just not something that you can confidently guarantee. So when your next best guy, Andrew Dowell, who's really been a special teamer, he goes out for the season. Now you're left with Zach Bond, who has been a disappointment. And I don't know that you can sell me all you want about Zach Bond finally making that progress, but it's clear that he's a guy who's out of position. He needs to be more of an outside guy in a 3-4, not an inside guy in a 4-3. It's just not a fit. It's not working. That's okay. It's a miss. Misses happen. And if you get something out of him this year, great. But you already needed. So basically, you're hoping, knock on wood, fingers crossed, pray to sign of the cross. You're praying that DeMarco Jackson becomes a dude, and I hope that works out. But if that's your hope, that ain't okay. It's why Mickey Loomis the day before camp said this.
There's probably a couple spots I don't want to identify him. But there's a couple that I wouldn't mind, having another player that has played in the NFL, but nothing glaring that I'm losing sleep over.
Okay, so he could say it wasn't glaring, that it wasn't losing sleep over, but it's glaring. You needed linebacker help. So we started looking. A week ago, I told you, look, go target Zach Cunningham. Former NFL tackles leader, former All-Pro, go get Zach Cunningham. He's on the street waiting to be signed. Well, Zach Cunningham ends up signing with the Eagles, so he's off the table. They bring in Anthony Barr. Have a great workout with Anthony Barr. He leaves without a contract. He wants to go take some other visits. Okay, the Saints just didn't have the luxury of waiting. Jaylon Smith, if you remember, was a 5-star who went to Notre Dame and was an incredible player. I mean, he was a unanimous All-American at Notre Dame, a magnificent college football career. He was a 2-time, he was a first-team All. He won the Butkus in 2015. And if you remember, his situation was awful because he suffered that devastating injury in the Fiesta Bowl against Ohio State. It was the devastating knee injury that essentially cost him his rookie season. He was going to be a no doubt slam dunk, top half of round 1, potential top 10 pick in the draft. And then he suffered that knee injury in the bowl game. And a lot of teams, they didn't know if he'd ever play football again. Well, Dallas took a shot on him early in round 2 at pick 34. They essentially punted his rookie season. They said, look, take your rookie year as a redshirt year. He comes back in 2017 and becomes a really good player. He starts every game for Dallas in 2018, 19, and 20. And he played in every game in 2017. So he played in every single game for 4 consecutive years for Dallas. And then in 2021, there was a little bit of a contract issue. Remember, they drafted Micah Parsons. There was a little bit of a contract issue. They wanted him to waive an injury clause in his contract or something like that. He wouldn't do it for 2022, so they let him go. So he spent 10 games with Dallas that year to start the season. And then, forgive me, he played in 10 games that year. He played 4 with Dallas, 2 with Green Bay. They waived him. Then he went to the Giants, and he finished the season with New York. 2022, New York signed him to their practice squad. Ultimately, they activated him, and he won the starting middle linebacker job. He beat out Tay Crowder. And he ended up making 11 starts, including starting in the playoffs for the Giants last year, and had a really good year. In his 11 starts, played in 13 games, 11 starts, he made 88 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits. I mean, he was a really productive player for the Giants last year. And what I like about it as well, for Jaylon Smith, it's really just one thing. It's, are you healthy? Jaylon Smith is 28 years old, y'all. We're talking about Anthony Barr, who's 31. Not that that's a massive difference, but in NFL terms, 3 years can be a sizable thing. So, again, I'm not asking Jaylon Smith to come in and be my starting inside linebacker and give me 100 tackles. I'm saying, can you come in and give me depth from a veteran player who has been in this league, who made the Pro Bowl in 2019, who's been a super productive guy? You know, his first 4 years in the league, these were his tackle totals: 81, 121, 142, 154. He was a fantastic player at the beginning of his career after he got healthy from the knee injury. So if he's 80%, 75% of what he was when he was a Pro Bowler in 2019 and when he had 154 tackles in 2020, you give me a guy that can be in this defense what Alex Anzalone gave you, which is a guy that can come off the bench, spell your starters, be a rotational piece. If you have an injury, of course he can start. And maybe there's tremendous upside there to where he wins a starting job. But I love it. I mean, this is exactly the kind of signing you need. Not a guy that you need to come in and be the guy, but a dude that's been the guy who still has gas left in the tank, who you can bring in and say, I need you to be a rotational player for me, a depth piece. And if we need to ask you more to put it into overdrive, he can be that guy. Would you rather Jaylon Smith or Zach Bond? Would you rather Jaylon Smith or DeMarco Jackson? At 28 years old, yeah, give me Jaylon Smith. Especially when I looked at him last year, and he beat out Tay Crowder, won the starting job in New York, started 11 games for him, had 88 tackles in just 13 games played, and played in the playoffs for him. Yeah, give me that guy. I love it. There is a very fair question of, well, if he was so good, why did New York let him go? And I don't know. I don't cover the Giants every day. I don't know the ins and outs exactly of what's going on in their defense and why they would let him walk. But he was a productive player for the Giants a year ago. He's played in 87 career NFL games with 69 career starts. He was productive a year ago, and he's absolutely a player at a gigantic, glaring position of must. Not a position of need, a position of must for the New Orleans Saints. Saints add Jaylon Smith, former Notre Dame linebacker, of course, was drafted by Dallas, floated around in 2021, landed with the Giants where he played last year. Now it looks like he'll be with the Saints in 2023. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.